how to take more listings. Where we left off on Tuesday, we basically talked about the practicing side of things. It's definitely something that I want you to continue to work on. And why is this important? It's not for the purpose of any sort of manipulation. It's not for the purpose of anything other than just the simplicity of being better prepared. That's all it is. It's nothing more. Being better prepared allows us to become better presenters, because shooting from the hip doesn't always work. And for that matter, most of the agents that I've coached, the majority of the agents that I've coached that have hit seven figures, they're usually in that 80 to 90% listing appointment to listing taken ratio, meaning you go on 10 appointments, listings we're talking about, and of those 10 appointments, they're coming back with 8 or 9 contracts. And that's where I'd like you to be at. And if you're looking at your numbers, you go back to your last 10 presentations. If you're not on that 7, bare minimum 8, 9, there's something we have to, of course, fix. And what is that we need to fix? It's very likely the lack of preparation for your appointments. And one of the ways we prepare is, of course, that of the pre-qualification. Now, when we're practicing, I want you to role play, and I always ask my clients to do this. I want you to role play basically the more challenged one or the closest to an appointment. Now, obviously, right now we are talking about pre-qualification, so I do want you to work on those situations that have been challenged before, the ones that have given you resistance. Now, in every role play, regardless, I want to make sure that you are in a position where you're ending with a positive result. That's rule number one when it comes time to role play. But I do want it to become challenging. Now, as far as in ending in an appointment, I'm referring to, of course, those of the prospecting scripts, the expires, the FSBOs, the just listed, the database calls, all those things. I do always want you to finish on a positive note, but I do want to make sure you are constantly looking at the role play of this, okay? Because it's going to lead to more confidence. It's going to get you better results. It's going to get you not only more appointments or better appointments, it's also going to help you with your mindset. And of course, last but not least, it's going to put you in a position to get more contracts signed. And why do I come from this direction regarding this? As far as mindset in specific, well, think about it. When you're in a confident state, do you perform better or do you perform weaker? So you have to be able to build that confidence, okay? And then I know some of you guys tune in and out. By the way, we're going to be doing an event today. So if you guys are in the Central Valley area, NAREP is having myself and Lizette be guest speakers. So we're going to be NAREP Fresno. For more information, you can go ahead and find the info on Instagram. Okay, so that's going to be live today here probably, well, in about 3 hours. So we have a 10:30 registration time. Back to the prequal. Pre-qualifying is also going to give you more energy when you go on presentations, okay? And what do I mean by that? Because when we are strong mentally, we perform better, okay? And you're excited. You want to go get it done. Versus going on 10 appointments, coming back with 3 or 4 contracts, you're like, well, let's see if they signed the contract. Instead, you're going to be hungry, you're going to be eager, you're going to be motivated, you're going to do everything in your power to get that contract signed. Now, what happens to the agents that don't pre-qualify? Let's talk a little bit about that, because it is important that we understand for those of you, and again, remember, 95% of your competition doesn't pre-qualify. Okay, so we got to remember that. But what happens to those 95%? 95% of agents that don't pre-qualify, they spend a lot of times frustrated with themselves, just like I just mentioned. And why are they frustrated? Because they're going out to these non-qualified appointments, they're crossing their fingers, and they're hoping and they're praying that they will sign a contract just because you show up. It's frustrating that way. The other thing is, because of the lack of results, these agents that do not pre-qualify, they have a tendency to take overpriced listings. And in most cases, for shorter periods of time. Okay, so property's worth $500,000. Seller says, "Hey, I want to be able to get $550 for the home," and the agent's like, "Man, I haven't taken a listing in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 2 months, 4 months, or 6 months." And they go, "I'll worry about the rest of it later. Let me just get the contract signed." Be careful with this approach, especially in today's market. There is almost no forgiveness with overpriced listings in today's market. Taking a listing in today's market is not enough. You have to do with what it takes to get the property sold. They also work a lot of non-income producing hours. This is a common trait for agents that don't pre-qualify. We talked about 3 different tiers of time management. There's busy. Everybody is busy. There's a lot of busy, and guess what? Busy people. Okay. Where I want you to be is I want you to be more on the effective side of things. That's getting everything done that you're supposed to be getting done. And ideally, in that third tier is going to be that of becoming efficient, doing everything you're supposed to, but doing it in less time. Okay, so you don't have to work the Saturdays, the Sundays anymore. You don't have to work until 7, 8, and 9 o'clock at night. You can still work a typical 40, 50-hour work week and be able to work 8 to 5, 8 to 5:30, 8 to 6 o'clock. Okay, so I don't want you to be those agents that are working too many non-productive hours. It's not fun doing that. Now, I want to park here for just a minute. Where agents have a tendency, and we don't see it from this perspective, is they start to significantly reduce their hourly rate of pay. Okay. Now, I would venture to say 95, 97, 98% of realtors have no clue what is their hourly rate of pay. What do you mean, Robert? We don't get paid by the hour. You do. Okay. You just don't have an employee type of business. But you put in X amount of hours a week or a day, a week, a month, a year. So there is a cost factor that is involved in the time, energy, and effort that you're away from your friends, your family, your loved ones, from everybody else that you're putting into this business. And then guess what? You're getting rewarded by commissions. And in those commissions, you take the commissions, you divide it by the number of hours. But Robert, I don't track any of that stuff. I get it. I don't. I understand. Okay. Here's a simple formula. I want you to think about how much money you made last year. So if you made, as an example, 80,000, you're basically going to take the first two numbers, or first three numbers, basically. So in this case, you're going to take the first two numbers and you're going to go ahead and divide it by two. Okay, so 80,000 or 80 divided by two, that's 40. 40 represents the number you're going to be getting paid an hour. So you're worth $40 an hour. Does that make sense? Now, if you're making 250,000, you're worth $125 an hour. Now, why is this important? Because when you start to look at things from a certain perspective, a little bit different, which unfortunately most agents don't see it from this perspective, they'll say things along the line of, I can do that, I can make it, I can do it way better. And what is it that I'm referring to? Well, it could be some of the administrative things. So when I'm going through, I'm coaching a client, the goal this year is to make 500,000. Great. You're worth $250 an hour. So what I want you to do, in this case, me talking to a coaching client, is I want you to think about it. Am I right now doing the $250 an hour job, or am I doing the $25 an hour job, which is that of an assistant? And it's very common that a large percentage of agents, what do? They have a tendency of doing more of the $25 an hour job. What is that $25 an hour job? That's basically the administrative, that's the organizing, that's the preparing, that's the ordering home warranties, that's the ordering the home inspection. But Robert, that's our job. I get it. I understand. Okay. But you need to put yourself in a position to where you can delegate as quickly as you possibly can. And the agents that don't, yes, this is part of it, that don't pre-qualify, they find themselves chasing these appointments, sitting in front of a dining room table for an hour. Okay. And then in some cases, it takes them a half hour to get there, another half hour to come back. They've invested 2 hours on this thing for somebody to sit there and say, yeah, we're just not ready. But I'm not done. There was prep work. And that prep work was running the CMAs, preparing the packet, which was another hour. So if you're worth, the example that I just gave, $250 an hour, and you invested on a deal that did not come together, or a listing appointment didn't come together, that's 3 hours at $250. You threw away in the trash $750 just by going on a non-qualified appointment. Does that make time? Does that make sense? Okay, well, it makes time, but it doesn't make sense. One last thing, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We're gonna go ahead and share the scripts. So the other thing is they usually do not prospect. Okay, they don't have too many appointments. And I come through this all the time. I coach teams, I coach brokers, I coach people that have smaller staff. I go out speaking engagements, go speak to offices, and it's very, very common where I'll ask a question in regards to the prospecting side of things. And I'm not talking about cold calling. I'm not talking about cold door knocking. Our job is to have conversations. The more conversations you have, and I don't care where it's from, open house, farming, mailing letters, social media, it doesn't matter. Your job is to have conversations. And with these people, I go out and I'll say, how many contacts, how many conversations are you having? And I'll ask the general audience. And I'll say, yourself, how many people did you contact yesterday? Well, I spoke to 2. Yourself, how many did you contact? Well, I spoke to 5. What about you? Well, I was busy. I didn't get a chance to prospect. And then they end up getting an appointment. And what do? Oh my gosh, panic time. I need to prepare a listing packet. I need to do this. I need to do all this other stuff. And then they go out and they present, and the result ends up being nothing because they didn't pre-qualify. So if I'm describing you, there is something wrong with your system. And there's a reason why you're year after year after year after year not hitting your goals. And we need to have a conversation. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move over to the direction of the script. Okay. I know some of this stuff was like super duper up there, but it is important because we don't see these things. Okay. We don't talk about, from a coaching perspective, about taxes. Anybody ever have a conversation with their broker about taxes? Almost nobody does. Anybody talk to their broker or team leader about money management? Nobody does. And these are the type of things that unfortunately we have, unfortunately, well, yes, unfortunately is not being spoken about, but these are the things that we need to be aware of because we don't see the hidden costs, as basically Lizette just mentioned. And those are the things we have to be careful with. So I'm gonna go ahead and share the script now. Anybody have any questions? Again, you're welcome to go ahead and join us over here on Zoom for those of you guys that are over on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But if not, you're welcome to go ahead and ask your questions on any of those platforms. Anybody have any questions that I can address, by the way? And if you do, you're welcome to type them in and we'll get them all addressed. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and work on the prequel script. I'm gonna work on the investor. We're gonna do one more day today of the investor script. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that up. I need some volunteers. This is gonna help us continue to, of course, get better and stronger and be my next millionaire agent. So who's gonna be that person? Who wants to be the person to go?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay. Anyone else want to go? No?
Let's do it, Shelly. Let's do just the opening, and then I'll get somebody else to get some of that courage and then to join us. So go ahead and whenever you're ready.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Robert.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert. This is Shelly Puentes from California Advantage. I was just calling with a couple of questions before we meet today at 5 o'clock. Is that time still good for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
All right, terrific. Yeah. So tell me, are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling a rental on Faulkner Street?
Well, we did have a conversation with another realtor probably about a month ago, but as of right now, we're not looking to really talk to anybody other than yourself.
Not looking to talk to anybody other than me, myself. Okay, great. And if we sell this property, where would you be open to buying or reinvesting your proceeds?
I'm really just looking at anything in Southern California. I really just want to be in a position where it can make sense financially. So anything that you can identify would be great.
Would be great. Okay, great. All right, terrific. And what kind of rental agreement do you have with your tenant right now?
Well, they are in a 1-year lease agreement. Their lease is up at the end of November, so we should be perfectly fine. I've already spoken to them, so there's nothing that we have to worry about. But yeah, their lease is up at the end of November.
Their lease is up at the end of November. Okay, very good, very good. So do you think they're going to cooperate in the sale? It sounds like it. Do you need to sell without notifying them?
No, they're going to cooperate. We're on the same page. We already talked about, a small little incentive that I would be offering them as long as they cooperate. And as of right now, they're giving me the impression that they're going to.
They're going to. Okay, and you're going to give them a small incentive for cooperating?
Yes.
That's exciting. Okay, that's great. Good for you. So when I see you, how much do you think you want to list your property for?
Well, we're thinking about 500. If we can get 525 would be great, but I want to, get this property sold, moved on because I don't want the property to sit vacant, preferably too long.
No, not too long. So 500, preferably 525. Okay, that sounds good. And tell me a little bit more about that price range. How did you determine that sales price?
Well, we got basically the Zestimate thingy on Zillow. So we looked at that. It's telling us a number of 508 and change something or other. We do have one of the neighbors that sold a home just down the street from us for 510. It was a little bit bigger, not too much bigger. And then there was another property that's not, too far from us. Unfortunately, it wasn't a really great property, but they had it on the market for 490 and got it sold at that price.
And they had it on the market for 490 and they got it sold at that price. Okay. Yeah. Well, I study homes and prices every day as a professional. So I assume that you'll list with me at a price that'll cause your home to sell, right? Your property to sell, right?
Correct.
Correct. Okay, great. And so what price won't you go below?
I really want to stick to that 500. I mean, anything in the 500s. I don't really foresee us getting into the 490, 480, anything from that direction. We definitely want to make sure that there's a 5 in front of any of those numbers.
A 5 in front of any of those numbers. Okay, terrific, terrific. Okay, so you won't go below 500, or what price won't you go below?
That's pretty much it. I mean, 499 is not a number that I'm looking at or anything below that.
Okay, I got it. And how much do you owe on the property?
Well, let's go to stop right there. So let me go ahead and open it up to the audience. Let's see if there's any questions, any comments, any concerns, any observations. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback first before we open it up to the audience. What do you feel you would have done or could have done a little bit different?
I don't know. I thought it was decent. Probably, I have a hard time matching your personality style because it's totally opposite to mine. So I was trying to be succinct, which I probably lost some of my authenticity in trying to match you.
So in this, we have to understand, and this goes to everybody, we have to understand that body language is a big part. And in your current position, it doesn't create excitement.
Oh, that was only because I'm having a hard time hearing you. I have my thing up. I'm bent over like that. Yeah, because I'm trying to
Got
hear
it.
you. So I get
Okay.
that.
Is anyone else having a hard time hearing me now?
No,
Okay.
I can hear her.
No.
So either way, and I get it where you're coming from, but this is a Shelley-ism. And that's a little bit of number one, Shelley being Shelley on showing up on any and all role plays. And I say that, of course, loving and respectfully. We need to create a little versatility. And the versatility, that's going to be being more Robert and less Shelley. And what do I mean by that? As some of you guys are joining us for the first time, when I'm listening to any of my coaching clients, if you're in a position that you're prospecting, you're going through a prequal, you're doing any of that, I want to be able to hear the person, the agent on the phone. I should be able to tell who and what type of person you're speaking to through you, even if I can't hear the person on the other side. And that's how we can create that versatility. So an example, when I'm talking to somebody, you can only hear my side, and I'm talking to somebody and I go, are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your property? By the simplicity of me slowing down, I'm probably speaking to somebody who's very methodical, somebody who's very slow, very paceful. Or I could be, now I don't want to ever assume, are you in a position where you're planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home? No. So now I'm speaking to somebody who's a little bit faster. So I want you to be able to mirror and match as much as you possibly can. So for you, back to you, Shelley, one thing I do want you to work on, because it's one of the things that you can be, you're good enough to where you can consciously work on the mirroring and the matching of it. And if they're a 7, I want you to be an 8. If they're a 4, I want you to be a 5. Okay. Meaning I want you to be above with where they're at. Whereas right now, I'm probably closer to an 8 or a 9, and you're maybe a little bit closer to like a 6, energy wise. Does that make sense? So hearing me, trust me, you're talking to the deaf guy. So hearing me and then taking a step back and then projecting is what I want you to work on. Okay. So a little bit more energy. That's what I basically would say. Overall, you did a really good job though. Okay. I really appreciate the fact that it is paceful. You are on script. You are asking me questions. You are progressing. You are continuing to move in a forward direction. Okay. So thank you for your participation. I know it's not always the funnest to receive some constructive critique, but that's what we're here for. Who else wants to go? Or unless you have anybody have any other questions?
I would like to go.
Awesome. All right. So actually, I can't see who's speaking. Teresa. Oh, there we go. Teresa. Perfect. Okay. So we're just going to go through a few questions. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and have at it.
Okay, so I just go through the script from question 1.
Just jump from the very beginning before I come out.
Okay, before I come out, there are a number of questions I would need to ask. Are you okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
If what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can increase your rental income, are you planning to list your home with me when I come out on Thursday at 2 p.m.?
I mean, there is a possibility. We do want to get the property sold, but I can't really commit to whether we're going to hire you specifically.
Oh, you can absolutely. You can't commit to hiring me yet. So I want to ask, are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home?
Well, we did interview one agent. We do have another agent that we're anticipating on interviewing as well.
So right here, should I be asking, like, do a little bit because we are pre-qualifying, so this area is kind of open up to, like, should I be asking who they are interviewing so I can know ahead of time? Oh, I'm gonna get myself into the rabbit hole. I don't want to kind of, I don't know where to go next here.
Let me answer your question because there's
Thank you.
definitely a loaded question. So the first critique I would do is the repeating and the affirming. We want to make sure that we're repeating and we're affirming. So that's the very first thing I would want you to do, Teresa. Number
Thank
two, as to the answering of your question, do you go down the rabbit hole? The answer is yes on this very specific one. And the reason for that is because you want to know who your competition is. Okay. So let me go ahead and roll reverse. We'll go through this very quickly. I'm giving you now a call. You're now the consumer. I am basically Teresa. And here we go. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello, Teresa.
Yes,
Oh, hey, it's Robert, the realtor. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I promised I was going to call you before work, and before I come out, there's just a number of questions I wanted to ask you. Is that okay that I ask them now?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I have a few minutes.
Perfect. I'm going to be very brief. I'm going to go right through it. The first question I want to ask you, Teresa, is if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable, and I do want you to feel confident that I can increase your rental income. Are you planning to list your property with me when I come out tomorrow at 5 o'clock?
I'm not sure yet. We're still making decision.
Got it. Okay. So you're not really quite sure yet. You're just looking to you're looking to process the decision.
Yes.
Got it. I do want to make sure though, however, Teresa, I want to make sure that if everything does line up and everything is exactly the way that you want to, will I at least have the opportunity to earn your business?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Now, I don't want to assume, are you planning to interview more than one agent for the job of selling your home?
Yes, I have one agent my sister refer and two other agents who just recently called. So I'm considering, I'm thinking that I look pretty good.
Got it. Okay. So we do have your sister that referred you one. There's two more, and then there's myself. So there's a total of four. Is that pretty accurate?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Now, besides the four, are you planning on interviewing more than those four agents before you make a decision?
These are the four that I know I was looking at thinking about, I was considering.
Got it. Okay. So after the four, you're pretty much in a position where you're going to make a decision.
Yes.
Right now, I'm hearing analytical. What do I want to do? I want to be in a position where I know there's a very good likelihood that she's going to be thorough throughout the entire process. So in this case, if it's an analytical, I want to try to position myself at the end of it, if possible. Now, if she's a driver, very direct, I'm going to do everything in my power to try to be that first one in. Okay. So that we're on the same page. Now, let me ask you this question, Teresa. You mentioned as far as the four realtors are concerned, how many of them have you already spoken with?
You, the first one, going to be the first agent.
Got it. Okay. So there's myself, and then you have the three others that you'll be interviewing.
Okay, so one quick question right here. When they tell you that of all the agent that they was planning you the first, usually I get nervous, but Robert, would I say that can you kind of flip your mindset and say maybe that I'm convincing enough, so now I get to be the first to meet the seller. So
Yes.
I want to hear your feedback because you have a lot of experience with seller for sure.
Yes. Let me address that question here in just a second so I can go through the role play, and I'm going to address it here very quickly. So you
Thank you.
mentioned as far as four agents you're going to be interviewing. I'm going to be the first one. You still have three other ones. Now, as far as the three others, when are you interviewing the other three?
I have not yet scheduled the appointment with them.
Got it. I'm still going to proceed and move forward at this point in time with the appointment for tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Now, what characteristics are you looking for? We'd have to role play that. What characteristics are you looking for in a realtor? Now, they're going to say A, B, and C. Now, if you're A, B, and C, perfect. Now, if you're not A, B, and C, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and put in your A, B, and C. She says, so what characteristics are you looking for in a realtor? Well, we're looking for somebody who's going to be doing a lot of mailings. Well, I don't do mailings. Okay. Somebody who does a lot of social media. I do some social media, but I definitely don't do a great job when it comes time to social media and, showcasing homes. And then we also want this other thing. I don't know what that other thing is. Now I'm going to sit there and say, well, what I'm great about, what about communication? Is communication? Oh, yeah, of course, absolutely. What about a resume? Somebody who has a great resume and great results track record. Is that, oh, yes, of course. What about somebody who's going to get you the most amount? Oh, yes, absolutely. So what we're doing is we're positioning ourselves, and you have to identify what is your A, B, and C. What are those things that makes you different and special? Now, answering Teresa's question, okay, because there are going to be some times, trust me, I've been in those positions where I'm going out doing a presentation and it's a $2 million listing and I've never sold anything over 600,000, or I've never sold a home in this community, or we're newer to the business. How do we position ourselves in that situation? Number one is tell them the truth. That's it, plain and simple. Okay, look, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I've never sold a $2 million listing, but there is nobody that's going to be hungrier and more eager to get your property sold than I am. Okay. Because this is exactly where I want my business to be in. I want to be in this community. I want to be in this price point. I want to whatever. Yes, I've only sold 2 houses this year, but trust me, you don't want to hire this Robert guy. Yes, he's sold plenty of properties, but you're going to be nothing more than just another line item on his chalkboard. You're going to have all of my time, energy, and effort devoted to you and getting your home sold. Do you want to just be another client for another agent, or do you want to be somebody who's going to give you all time, energy, and effort like myself? It doesn't matter the point in this. So now answer your question, Teresa. In this, whatever it is, just be honest with them.
Okay.
And what's the likelihood? You go on 10 of these appointments. I go on those. I mean, obviously now it's a little bit different, but I go on those $2 million appointments. I go on 10 of them. I'm probably only going to secure 1 or 2, but it's okay because in the next year, it's no longer 1 or 2. It's now 3 or 4. And then the next year, it's no longer 3 or 4. Now it's 5 or 6.
Okay.
Okay. You got that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for being here. I am locking in a bunch of speaking engagements. So thank you guys for the connections with all of your different groups, all of your offices, all of your teams. So I just want to take a minute to say thank you guys for those of you that are helping me continue to work on getting in front of more people. If you are this type of person, you have an office, you have a team, you are a broker, you want to talk to your broker, you want to talk to your team leader, and you want me to come out, absolutely. I'm going to be doing a Texas tour. Okay, so this is fun. So I'm going to be doing a Texas tour in the spring. I'm already starting to light up some things. So it doesn't matter whether it's Texas, Arizona, Nevada, Chicago, it doesn't matter. I will come out to you and we'll find a time and day and we'll make that happen. Thank you guys for being here. As always, go take a listing or 5 and I will see you guys next week. Okay. So if not, I'll see you guys in Fresno. See you soon. Bye-bye.